I need to start making these a regular thing at least once a week. So I like when we just hang out and chat. Hi, John. These are some of my most favorite streams. I really have a good time with this. Oh, I forgot to fill my water thing. 4th of July was yesterday. We didn't really do anything big for the 4th of July other than have hot dogs. My wife and I were talking about, well, I think like everybody does, you get to a certain point in the day, it's like, well, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? And with me being a fat guy, that starts the day before. So on July 3rd, I was saying, well, what are we going to do for dinner tomorrow? She goes, it's 4th of July. You got to have hot dogs. Okay. Didn't have apple pie. Isn't that baseball hot dogs, apple pie? Oh, fuck Chevrolet. But baseball hot dogs and apple pie. I'm going to get my apple pie. I want that too. But only if you put a big glob of vanilla ice cream on top of it. The hell is the sense in having apple pie if you're not going to a la mode it? So let's see, everybody. Yeah, we're all right. Everything's set there, and everything's set here. Master Andrew says, Mr. Curtis, who invented fireworks and why? I'm not AI. I'm not even human intelligence, let alone artificial intelligence. I don't have that information. Didn't the Chinese invent fireworks? Am I wrong? And why? I would imagine to blow up things, which I'm a big admirer. Ah, there he is. Hi. Oh, that was such a great Joker. Hot dogs, hamburgers, apple pie. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Look fun. Well, that's what my wife said. We got to have hot dogs because it's 4th of July. I mean, I don't complain because I love hot dogs. I'm, I'm a very simple man. I see hot dogs and I smile.
Wolverine de Goosher asked
Wolverine de
why
Goosher.
did Kurenai try
Oh,
using
geez.
genjutsu on Itachi? Doesn't she
Oh,
know
yeah.
that only my penance
Food is
stare works
priority.
on the Uchiha?
You know that, Big Green.
Because Kurenai walked into that fight like a candle trying to arrest the sun.
That's pretty good. That's a good line.
That's
like a
not
candle
strategy,
trying
that's
to arrest
performance
the
art
sun.
repercussion. And your penance stare? That's the real
Was the Chinese? I thought so.
Itachi would see it, sigh, and start drafting his own obituary.
All right. These celebrities are experts on everything. Yeah, because the Chinese invented gunpowder, right? Goddamn Chinese. On top of some pretty fun shit. They got things started on shooting other people, gunpowder, and making pretty sparkly things blow up in the sky. Two of my favorite things. Huh. I've been following uh a lot of days when I go down for breakfast in the morning after I do the first thing I do every day is the 3 daily videos we do over at the Goosh at our Patreon. I haven't been able to go down for breakfast, so that's when I would catch up on ESPN all the sports highlights. So I don't even know what's going on in the World Cup. I'm not a huge soccer fan anyway, but from what people I've talked to, I mean, there's a lot of excitement around the U.S. team, but I it seems, I mean, the impression I'm getting, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like the excitement is because we are better than we typically are, not that we're going to be able to win the whole thing. From what I'm hearing, I guess France is loaded. But it's I was told this again, I don't know. But I don't know if there's like next to no actual Frenchmen on the team. It's mostly people who immigrated into France. Fireworks invented in ancient China, 600 900 AD. God damn. Al- Chinese alchemists mixed sulfur, charcoal, and potassium nitrate. How the fuck did they know to do that back then? I wouldn't know to do that now. Even when you explain, like that, you can explain to me the ingredients. I still wouldn't know how to put it together. Freaking Chinese. always trying to stay ahead of the curve. Cool and Usual says France is the overwhelming favorite at the moment. The usual Titans have not been performing well. That's a friend of mine. I was talking with him the other day. He's from Europe, and big soccer fan, and that's what he was telling me. Yeah, he said it's the French. A lot of the the Latin countries, I guess, that are typically powerhouses are not so much this time around. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much what it is, Big Green. We don't totally suck for once. That's the impression I've been getting is, again, there's a lot of hype and a lot of excitement around the US in the World Cup this time, but again, largely because hey,
Panda
we're not as
Express
bad
is
as usual.
gourmet Chinese food. I could eat myself into a food coma on a literal
Panda
ton of their
Express.
food. The only thing better than orange
The
chicken
only thing I like
is
is
bacon wrapped
in Chinese
orange
food
chicken.
is bacon wrapped orange chicken. I told you guys that I like sweet and sour chicken, and I like fried rice, chicken fried rice or beef fried rice. That's it. That's enough. Makes me full for about 10 minutes because it's Chinese food. Surprisingly, Mexico has not conceded a single goal, Unusual says, but they're playing England tonight. Oh, interesting.
Ancient alchemy was fun like that. Either you make some sort of scientific breakthrough,
Right.
or you're known as the idiot who blew himself up, mixing things
Fair.
that he
That's
probably
fair.
shouldn't have.
Yeah. What Hal's saying is that could have been an accident. That could have. Yeah, let's put some of this in here and some of that in there, and let's see if any of us die. Dave says, "What are you planning on playing between RDR2 and GTA 6 if you finish it early?" Again, just like we've been saying all along, we'll have to figure that out when we get to it. Probably something scary, but a lot of it will be up to you guys. I'll ask you guys for your input onto what we should play at that point. Excuse me, guys. I've been working on stuff towards I'm gonna be going out and about. Yeah, look out, world. Nobody wants me out and about. I'm gonna be doing hypnosis shows again. So I've been any little bit of extra time I have, I've been putting together the websites or the website for it and starting to make flyers and business cards and all that stuff. Started putting out feelers to get connections. I don't think we'll finish either one of those early, Big Green says, unless something happens again. Right? Rockstar, oh, we're gonna finish early if that Rockstar Games launcher pulls that shit again. Jesus Christ. That was pissing me off yesterday. Hey, Kick Bounties, why don't you go fuck yourself vigorously? Can you do that for us? Can you jump on that? Do buddy, ba-da-ba-da-da-dee. Oh, Kick Bounty. What the hell is this Kick Bounties is something sent from Kick that's not a scam thing? I got 500 subs on the what the fuck is this shit? If you need content for the next 20 minutes, download Mecha Chameleon and win a round painted full Kick green. Easy? Check it. What the hell? They actually post into your streams with spam? Kick does? I got to admit, I don't recall YouTube doing that. I don't recall YouTube spamming your streams. Yeah, what the hell, Dave? I thought for sure that was just another one of these assholes trying to promote something on a stream, and it's actually Kick doing it. Download Mecha Chameleon. No, I don't think we will download Mecha Chameleon. It's a paint and hide game. I don't even know what the hell that means. Paint and hide? I've had a lot of women hide from me, painters or non-painters. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so what else is going on with you guys? Just show it as an ad because this way it sounds like a scam. Yeah, that's just bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that from one of the streaming services where they just kind of spam your stream with some silly shit. What anime is my personal favorite? I don't know. It depends on what I'm in the mood for at any given time. Overall, in general, probably Hunter x Hunter, but it'd be real close between that and One Piece. And then we've seen some really, really, really good anime over at the Goose recently as well. But Hunter x Hunter's storytelling was just so freaking brilliant, especially that Chimera Ant arc. That's definitely my favorite arc that I've ever seen in an anime. Do I remember bum fights? Yeah. Oh hell yeah. Anything to do with fights, street fights, anything like that. I watch those videos all the time. I can't anyway. What the rules for what we know, what we can post on YouTube and what other people can post on YouTube are different. But you can't even react to like some good street fight videos or anything because I get community guideline strikes if I post anything like that. Josh Berry says, "Did you ever finish Walking Dead Telltale game?" Yes. Also, thank you for getting me into Maurepar's. Maurepar's is great. He's so freaking funny. His delivery is so good, and the freaking creatures he researches and comes up with are just horrifying. Excuse me. Toss spot. You got anything else fun playing for the summer, Curtis? You guys know me. I mean, I do this every day, so that's what I enjoy. What I would like to do, and I don't know if I'll get to do, is you guys know my wife and I are Disney nuts, and we're going in October. We're finally Disney has these marathon days a few times a year, and my wife and I are not runners. I have never been a runner. I used to do anything I could to get out of running. Even when I was boxing, my trainer always had me running around. I'm like, I don't want to fucking run. I just want to punch things. But she's always wanted to try just a 5K. And we were actually able to get into this one for October. So we're going down. But her and I would love to be able to, between now and then, get away for just like a few days. It's not really that expensive. If you get the annual passes, which we do, which are expensive, we have to save for them all year. But once you get the annual passes, going down to Disney for a few days, it's not as pricey as you would think because it's ticket prices that have gotten out of hand. Because we're pass holders, we get deals on rooms, so we can always get rooms fairly cheap. And we know which places to go to eat. Plus, we have our car with us, so we don't have to eat on Disney grounds. You know, we can go into Orlando and to Kissimmee and get food there. But it's just a matter of making the time to get away. But other than that, no. And we don't have any special days planned, but we'd like to go. It turns out that this week coming up would have been the primo week to do it because for some reason it's really slow down there right now. And they're giving really good discounts on the rooms, and none of them are filling up. It's so hard to predict what's going to happen down there anymore. I used to be able to predict pretty accurately what times of year we're going to be busy and what times weren't. And you can't tell anymore. Big Green says, what's going on with me? I'm still being paid for my last month of work, but they basically told me we had no more work for you, so I'll be staying at home until then. Oh, shit. Well, that sucks. Krogan says, would you be open to recommendations of series reactions? Over at the Goose where we have a nominations and poll. Oh, I got to put up a new nominations thread. We're getting close to the end of The Sopranos. That's right. I got to get a nominations thread going so we can have a poll. But no, you're not seeing any series on the YouTube channel, so I don't know what what we would be getting recommendations for. Tosspot says, I just went to Universal. Oh, I want to go back to Universal so bad. I haven't been in years. In the week for a couple days wasn't all that bad. It was enjoyable. Just freaking hot as balls. Yeah, the whole country is right now, though. We're actually here in North Carolina and hell, even up to East Coast. This whole last week, we were way hotter than Orlando, than Disney. I think we are today, too. Let me see. Right now, we're at 91. Yesterday, at this time, we were at 100. It finally eased up a little. Yeah, we're at 91. Orlando's at 90. Yesterday, when I looked, we were at 100. Orlando was at 91. So I can't even, it's not even a case of, oh no, I don't want to go down there with the heat. The heat's been brutal here. UK's been hot. That's what I hear, Brandon. Everybody's been telling me that. The UK's been brutally hot too. No, I don't know anything about the Chud the Builder case. I have, Steve, I've seen things written about it online, but I haven't really stopped to read anything to look into it deeper. So I don't know what it's about. Oh, it broke there for you guys, Dave. He says we're finally down to 83 degrees here in Ohio. Yeah, I hear. I heard today is, even though it's 91 here, that's actually the heat wave broke because, as I said, it was 100 yesterday. 91 is warm for here, but not out of hand. Now, where I'm from in New York, it's down to 79 today, and they were up in the mid 90s all last week too. So it does look like the worst of that heat wave has subsided anyway. Krogan was in LA on vacation recently. I was walking down the Walk of Fame. I was crossing the street and then some guy yelled, eating pussy for lunch. It was a junkie looking up and tweeting. Well, it was a junkie who knows what he likes for lunch. You can't blame him for that. Junkie's got to get a little pussy here and there too. Gremlins is making a return? No, I didn't. I liked that movie. What's he couldn't get him wet after midnight, or was that the rule? It was something like that. Zuchen says, yeah, yesterday in South Carolina, when I went walking to the post office, my skin was burning. I poured water on my legs and it immediately dried up. It's funny to say, I was telling my wife, I ran out for something yesterday and I said the same thing. I said, you go outside, that sun hits you, and it feels like it's actually cooking your skin. It was bad. Excuse me. Josh says, in terms of community guideline strikes, I find it so stupid that the bigger reactors are okay, but they crack down on smaller reactors. To me, it should be equal. Yeah, it's well, the whole system. I mean, YouTube's whole system is just insanely uneven. There's no real rhyme or reason to it at all that I can make heads or tails out of. B Green says, I'm going to miss walking to work. I always see drunk guys and other mutants causing issues on the way to my workplace. it makes for an interesting commute anyway, as long as there's people there to entertain you. Couldn't feed gremlins after midnight. That's what it was. Which made any sense to me because it meant they could never eat anything after the first day. Right. Steve said, Chud the Builder is basically this white guy, and his content involves going up to black people and calling the N word with the hard R. He says he does it for free speech. He does it for views, that's all. Yeah, people do anything for attention. And he's right. And I am absolutely a free speech absolutionist. I believe in free speech, and he should be able to do that. Doesn't mean you're free from consequences, though. And doesn't mean you're not an asshole for doing it. It's the only reason you do that to someone is to try and get a reaction out of them. Because I've always told you guys, I think the concept of swear words is just stupid. I think as a society, it proves we're kind of dopey. As I've always said, you take a little kid says the word shit, and everybody freaks out, and hey, watch your mouth, and yeah, you know, that's not the kind of thing you say, and be polite, and blah blah blah. And a little kid says poopy, and everybody thinks it's cute, and it means the exact same thing. So I've never liked that. However, when you're outside of swear words, as far as individual words or phrases, the N word only has one purpose in its origins, and that was to demean people. There was no other reason to say it other than to, again, to cast dispersions on someone for the color of their skin. That's why I don't use it. And I think if you are using it in that context, you're just an asshole. You're just an attention seeking asshole. I think I another thing I hear you hear from white people sometimes. It's so stupid. Well, how come black people can say it and we can't? Well, I always got that too. I mean, especially in like hip hop culture and stuff like that, using the N word amongst black people is them reclaiming it. So I got that. It's saying, okay, this word historically has been used to demean and belittle us, and now we're going to take it back and use it however the hell we want. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, the only reason you'd be doing something like that is desperate for attention. Oh, I love that. The head of the head of Count Dooku Records. I just love your reaction. Like, I'll give you so much money to not shoot your dad. Yeah, that was funny. Sergeant Hatred. That's it from Venture Brothers, you guys. That was such a great line. We watched that over at the Goose. Wholesome Deuce, Wholesome Deus. He's been sponsoring that for us. That's the longest continuous sponsorship. Excuse me, guys. We have. How long ago? I don't even know if I can find it right. He's been sponsoring that show one a month. Let me see if I can find out when it started. Let me search. Let me search Venture Bros one by one. See if that comes up. That's how I marked it. You can find out when the first one was. No, I got 1 by 21. Ouch. Oh, that's not it. Anyway, that's Fire Force, not Venture Bros. What the fuck are you showing me? All right, now I'm curious. The sometimes the search box on Patreon doesn't work that particularly well. All right, let's go to Venture Bro. God damn it. Venture Bros. Now let me search the tag. Well, let me list them. Oh, let's go oldest newest. Okay, there's an option for that. Been sponsoring that show for almost 6 years. Started September 7th, 2020. Yep. Almost 6 years. And we've everybody, the whole crew just freaking loves that show. No, it's not worse than YouTube search. No, it isn't, Big Green. it it doesn't take long with Patreon search. It doesn't take you long to get to where you want to be. Sometimes you got to get a little creative with the search terms. But yeah, YouTube's, well, a lot of things YouTube does are just yeah, not good. Hey Beaches, thanks for the super chat. Beaches says my city made fireworks illegal in the 4th. Yeah, everyone fired off fireworks anyway. America, yeah, I'm sure. I can't see people paying any real attention to that. Why did they make fireworks illegal on the 4th? In New York, when I lived up there, fireworks had been illegal year round for years and years, and finally, a few years ago, they make them legal. Like from the end of June to the first week of July for 4th of July. But down here, they're illegal all the time. 6 years? Yeah, it is, Dave. Yeah, Deuce has been bringing us that show right along. And so appreciated because it's been so freaking funny. But that is one of my
One thing
favorite
I
lines
won't
from
miss
the whole
from my
show.
workplace is the elevators. The front elevator would always break.
Oh,
You'd be lucky if it lasted a whole month. The back elevator seems like it was sturdier. But it smelled like cat piss in there. No idea why. None of us owned cats. Fun stuff.
fun stuff. And yeah, they're such a closed space, elevators, and so like you say, if you get a smell in there, it never gets aired out. And if you get a smell somehow on top of the box itself in the elevator, how often is that cleaned? It's not like something convenient to get to clean it up or anything. Yeah, I can see that lingering for a while. Steve says, "Oh, this Chud guy is on trial for attempted murder." And in one clip, he said that he had 18 rounds for a black guy who was getting into his face. But who is this asshole? I might have to look him up. Just hanging out here. Says, "Hey, Curtis, I don't comment often, but I'd like to ask for advice. Going through a rough breakup, and I've been struggling to process it. Was wondering if you have any advice. Love your content. Thanks." Um, there's no magic wands and no magic words you can produce when somebody's going through something as difficult as a tough romantic breakup. The best advice I have, and this is from my own lived experiences and those of people around me, I don't know how much comfort they are, but when it comes to romantic breakups, the old adage, "this too shall pass," or "time heals all wounds," is so true. It hurts so much, in the here and now, and it slices so hard. But it is one of those things that as you work your way through it day to day and the further away you get, the better things become. Because you move on to other things, you move on to other people. You start to put everything that went on during the relationship into its proper context, I guess is the best way to put it. See, unlike things like, when you lose someone, and I mean someone important to you passes, as time goes by, you deal with it better, and you live your life, but you always keep a part of that hurt inside. With romantic relationships, that's not true. You'll get over it in time. And again, the taking time is the toughest part, but in time you get to where you'll look back and go, why was I that upset about that? It's not and in many cases you can look back with a clearer vision and look at the whole relationship and go, you know what, maybe that was a good thing anyway, maybe. Alcohol and pizza. Pizza's a cure-all for almost everything, Beaches. Look Fun says, yeah, a lot of people have. I'm sure there's got to be a name for it, right? Of the fear of elevators, because I know several people that are afraid of elevators. Let's see. What is the fear of elevators called? Does this bitch not even speak anymore? The fear of elevators is called. This is real. This is a real original. Elevatophobia. They couldn't think of something cool. Spiders is arachnophobia, something like that. Elevatophobia. It is a form of claustrophobia, the fear of being trapped in an enclosed space. Well, I don't know. Yes and no. It's not just the fear of being trapped in an enclosed place. It's the fear of being trapped in that enclosed place and having it plunge 37 floors. And it's not even the fall, I think, that people are afraid of. It's that sudden stop at the bottom that's going to sting. The fear of long words is a long word, is it? We got to see how long that is. What is the fear of long words called?
Here's an answer from HowStuffWorks.com.
Holy shit! They did this. Whoever came up with this word was being an asshole. Jesus Christ. Oh, come on. I lost it. It took it down. I can try and pronounce it. Let me see. The fear of long words. Wow. Okay. Hippopotamonstrosa quilipediophobia. Hippopotamonstrosis quipedeliophobia. What the fuck? Why would they do that? That's being a dick. How many letters is that? I don't want to count them. Wow. Hippopotamonstrosis quipedeliophobia. Ironically, the name itself is one of the longest in the dictionary and is often used as a linguistic joke. What kind? All right, whoever the linguists are a bunch of dickheads, because that's just being mean. Steve says, as a black dude, I just wish I could have been there so Chud could have called me the hard R. My jiu-jitsu training would have come in handy. Yeah. Again, the only reason you would be doing shit like that is just because you're a desperate, pathetic loser looking for attention. It's the only way you can get it. Yeah, right. I know. Big Green says if you have this phobia, you won't even have the courage to say what your phobia is. That's just that. Whoever created that term, came up with that term for that condition, is just an asshole. Zuchin says, I don't have a fear of elevators or long words, but I have a fear of motions, but only in specific situations. I forgot the name for it. That's interesting. Yeah, I saw some of the fights from the Freedom 250. Good card. I like anime. Says, hi Curtis. I don't comment much, but I've been watching you for a real long time. I swear to God, you don't age. Oh, thank you. I wish that were true. Every time I see your videos, you look exactly the same. Are you human? Shh. We don't talk about that. Yes. Yeah, I'm human. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Order of magnitude says the USA are still in it and playing surprisingly well. I really hope you guys don't win, though. I know very little about soccer. I'm just, when I talk about it, I'm parroting things that I've heard from people around me who are into it. But from what I've been told, they're much better than usual. That's why it's getting so much attention. Is our American team's much better than usual, but it doesn't sound like we're a real threat to win at all. Not with France in there. At least, again, just what I'm being told. Mark says, who do you hate more from Family Guy, Brian or Bonnie? Brian. Bonnie's a bitch, but Brian's an obnoxious douchebag. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Excuse me, guys, while we're chatting here, I got to post today's vids. I got a Family Guy reaction video going up at Grandpa Curtis. I would have forgotten. I always wait till we're already streaming before I post the videos because YouTube's so freaking weird. Sometimes if I post the video, excuse me, and then try and stream right after, they send even fewer notifications. So I was trying to get the stream going first. Right. This was a good collection today of Family Guy clips. Really good collection. Baldur says, I worked with a lot of Latinos and all they watched is soccer. It was interesting, but mostly noise after a while. Yeah, I did too, Baldur. When I was in when I lived in New Mexico, I worked in a bus manufacturing plant, and I think a majority of the workers there were Mexican, and yeah, they were way, way into soccer. Maybe all the blows to the head turned Curtis into a vampire. Uh, I wouldn't even be against that, but I want some of those cool vampire abilities to start showing themselves. Just like I always said, if I'm lucky enough to get superpowers, get some good old gamma rays going on or something. If I get superpowers, I am not using them for I'm not using them for good, for the benefit of humanity. I'm using them for the benefit of Curtis. Steve says, what series are you currently watching at the Goose? Well, we have a lot of sponsored series, but the 3 daily ones for right now are The Sopranos, which we're in the final season. That's why I got to start another nominations and poll thread so we know what's next. Pokemon, and right now we're finishing up on Inuyasha. We're in the final act. That's actually what it's called, the final act of Inuyasha. And as soon as that's done, we that slot goes back to Bob's Burgers, because we interrupted Bob's Burgers to get Inuyasha in. But then it's the things we have coming on. The G100 and G200 crew there are just amazing with the stuff they bring us. We got so many fun things going on in there. And we just started Dexter. Owlcatcher just started bringing us Dexter. We got a lot of really good stuff. Little Britain is freaking hilarious. I've even found out that I like sci-fi with DS9. Big Green says, "Hey Hank Tank." Big Green says, "I have the side effects of vampirism, but none of the powers. I'm pale and sunlight makes me hiss like a cat." Blazing Court says, "I'm from the same country as the loser of the main event." He's talking about UFC at the 250 event. "And everyone in my country was saying he sold the fight and the fight was staged, but I feel like I'm the only one that believes it wasn't staged." Yeah, you don't really see that anymore. Not at a high level. It's too complicated to try and fix a fight at a high level anymore. People say, we have people running around all the time, Blazing Corpse, saying that the NBA is fixed and the NFL is fixed. People just like having conspiracy theories. Back in the days, you could get away with that stuff with fixing fights, and it might still go on at lower levels, but not in big main events. Tram says it's safe to return to watching the reaction streams again, or are the Joey World Tour videos still around? That guy is, oh man, he's just such an asshole. I just can't stand him. Kevin says, "Let's go Knicks." That shocked me, Kevin. I don't have a problem with that. Years ago, I didn't like the Knicks, but they've evolved a lot. The team they have now, they've got like Karl Anthony Towns. Got a lot of guys on there I do like, so I was fine with them winning it. I just didn't see it coming. I would have, at the beginning of the season, if you'd have had me list my top 10 most likely teams to win the championship, they wouldn't have made it. They wouldn't even made it in the top 10. So kudos to them. Dave says, next you'll tell me professional wrestling is fixed. No. How can it be fixed? I can't remember, how to walk back out of this room because of wrestling. Big Man says, "Bro, the fear of escalators is called escalophobia. Was somebody jerking off instead of coming up with proper names?" I just looked up. Yeah, what the hell? Have a little bit of creativity. That's like you're walking down the hall passing somebody else in the linguistics department. And they say, "Oh, we don't have a word for the fear of escalators," and you're just like, escalophobia, whatever. Yeah, you didn't put any thought into that shit. God damn it. Still real to me, damn it. Right, Hank? Dave says, "I've been wondering what inspired you to start this YouTube channel back in the day. I know you initially started with gameplay and skits, but gravitated to reactions later on. Yeah, it was specifically, I loved Call of Duty back before they ruined the franchise. And Brax was only 11 at the time. We would watch a lot of Call of Duty videos, and I sucked at the game. And so I said to him, I said, we should start a channel. I said, because obviously all the Call of Duty channels are these ace players and we liked watching them. How about a channel of somebody who just sucks ass at it? And that's how I got started, because I sucked ass at it. And the only reason we slowly moved away from that was I got better, but I was never going to be good enough to make videos showing people how to play or impressing people with my play. But I was no longer the worst guy in the lobbies. So it just wasn't as interesting. Other than we would do, when we would do trolling, that was fun. We would do stuff like, I remember one time being in there and I was telling people that I was actually, I think in Ohio, I was in prison in Ohio. And this was what they allowed me to do for my, my recreation time, and just different stupid shit. And then I would play in a Mickey Mouse voice, and I would always try and run through the gas grenades to try and get high and shit. Yeah. Big Green says wrestling is totally real. They really did hang the boss man. He got better. The got better phrase will always go back to Monty Python and the Holy Grail for me. I got better. Only in Ohio, right? Steve says, I have questions about your taste in food. Very limited. Yes, it is. Your parents ever get on your case about it? Oh, sure. Because if I did my mom's food, I had two options, eat or starve. Yeah, we're the same way. But what my parents didn't understand was it wasn't me. It's like my parents almost approached it as I was doing something malicious. Well, you only want to eat certain things. It's because of how, for whatever reason, it's how I'm put together. It's not because I was trying to be a pain in the ass. And things like she loved beets. Oh my God, I hated beets. Oh, they're good. And that's what your parents would say. No, they're good. Well, they're good to you. To me, they taste like shit. And that never changed. So parents back in the day were odd about a lot of things. But no, yeah, she got on me on it all the time. And yeah, you don't get anything else to eat. You're going to eat it for breakfast. Like, yeah, whatever. It's still, doesn't matter to me, hot or cold, it still tastes like dog shit to me. But back then they couldn't understand the fact that, maybe just as a human, not as a kid, some people's tastes are different, and something that is a pleasant experience to one person can be absolutely vile to another. Beets taste like dirt. They do. They do. And my father liked everything creamed as well. Creamed potatoes, creamed corn. Oh, I hate creamed foods. Big Green says, I like beets, but my mom used to make this beet soup that I was not a fan of. I still dislike it to this day. Oh, well, I'll tell you something that happened many, many years later. My mom ruined something for us. It was back before we moved to North Carolina, but my mother lived down here, so we'd come down and visit every so often. And my wife and I both like pulled pork sandwiches. It wasn't high on my list. It's not something I went out of my way to get, but every once in a while, you go to a restaurant or something and have, I might have a pulled pork sandwich. My mom, we came down the one time, she said, she was talking about how she learned to make pulled pork. And she said, we'll have that for dinner. And we're like, okay, cool. Well, she was so excited, we didn't want to hurt her feelings. It was awful. Oh my God, it was terrible. And it wasn't just me. My wife said the same thing. And my wife is not like me at all. My wife has a wide palate. She likes a lot of different foods. That was horrible. Neither one of us can eat pulled pork anymore. That was so disgusting. And we got so sick. And the food wasn't bad, so my mom ate it and she was fine. It wasn't bad. It was just that bad tasting. Oh, it was horrible. Excuse me. Asparagus piss, yeah. Liver and onions. My grandmother loved that. Look fun. I can remember as a kid being in my grandma's house, and all of us kids, all my cousins and everything, everybody would get grossed out just smelling my grandmother make liver and onions. She'd make it for herself because even my grandpa didn't like it. Oh, she loved them. She loved liver. Oh, la. Hey, Ras Rubka. Yeah, that sticks out. My grandma was all right. She was a good grandma. But boy, I don't know why she liked that liver. Nobody else in the family liked it, but ugh, damn. Blazing Corpse says also, by the way, did you hear about a former UFC fighter squaring up against a police officer when he was kicked off a plane because he was intoxicated? I didn't. I've heard about UFC fighters, current or former, doing variety of stupid things, but I didn't hear about that one in specific. I only use liver meat for fishing, never ate it. Yeah, and again, she was the only one in our family. Even my grandfather didn't care for it, but oh, my grandma loved that. Liver and onions. Ah. Oh, Dustin Poirier it was? Oh, yeah, I remember Dustin Poirier. He's struggling with alcoholism in retirement, is he? Oh, that's too bad. I didn't know about that. Yeah, I remember him well. Oh, yeah, look fun. I can never understand how people eat pizza with anchovies. Oh, those gross, salty ass fish. Oof. And again, I fully admit I'm somebody with a very limited palate, but that stuff's just gross. Oh, anchovies are so nasty. Huh. Well, that's too bad about Dustin Poirier. Hank says his airport encounter is already getting memed. Yeah, that's too bad. No, I didn't know about that at all. I remember watching him fight. Big Green says, I like my grandma's cooking, but her soups are always under seasoned. It's now my mom growing up. The my mother and father were both, people think of New York and they think of New York City. We're from upstate New York, very, very rural. They lived out in the country. So my mom was a country cook. The things she made, she could make well, but there wasn't a wide variety of them. And then I learned much later in her life that if she branched out and tried to do things like made pulled pork, it's not a good idea. But my wife is a phenomenal cook. My wife is Italian, and I almost feel bad for her because anytime we have guests over now, with most of our family being in New York, if any part of the family gets to come down and visit for a while, the first thing everyone asks is, well, do you think while we're there you could make sauce? And so my wife has to make her sauce and meatballs and yeah, the whole nine. But yes, my wife's an excellent cook. Very good cook. A lot of older people are big on the butter, Dave. I've noticed that too. Yeah, butter is a part of every recipe, it seems, and big hunks of a recipe. Yeah. Tosspot says I low key love the tinned sardines and tomato sauce. Ooh, wow! Slurp those up like no tomorrow. Oh, baby. Nope, I couldn't do that. I heard of stick bait for fishing? No, I haven't heard of that. It literally smells like San Francisco. San Francisco smell I am familiar with. I used to live, excuse me, guys, in a town, I lived for several years in a city in California called Vacaville. And it was right between San Francisco and Sacramento right on Interstate 80. And I only went to San Francisco a couple times because San Francisco to me sucks. It's cold there all the time. It stinks down by the water. It just smelled bad. The cost of everything was exorbitant. So me and my buddies, if we wanted to do anything fun in a bigger city, we'd go to Sacramento. We'd go the other way and head east. Sacramento, I don't know if it's still there, had a little area called Old Sacramento. Had a lot of little shops and stuff like that. Had the Crest Theater. Back then, the Crest Movie Theater in Sacramento, it was $1 to get in. But you didn't know what you were going to see. They didn't have anything on the marquee or anything like that. And you got to remember, this is before the days of, well, not only before the days of streaming video, but before the days of home video. You didn't have VCRs or anything like that. But you paid $1, you went in, and you just saw whatever movie was playing, whatever they had. We used to do that all the time. I had some great times doing that. Yeah, it looked really nice on Full House, didn't it? Oh, no, not a San Francisco fan. Again, the times I was there, just the smell is what stood out. And like I say, everything was expensive, and it's always freaking cold there. I don't care for my butter. My family uses margarine. My mom used to use margarine in some stuff. I don't even know what the rationale was for it, but I know she used to use it in some things. Okay, I cannot read the screen name, but it says 2009 says, bro, I was have any problem? Can you help me a little, please? You'd have to give me an idea what the problem is before I can tell you if I can help you. Blazing Corp says Dustin Poirier, we're talking about, told the police officer it's gonna be bad, my N-word, and yeah, it would have been bad, but luckily the police officer was level-headed and de-escalated the situation. That's too bad. I didn't know about that. I have, just from all the cranial trauma, I have my family, my friends, including the people who are close to me here. Big Green will tell you I've spoken to everybody I'm close to online as well, that if you ever notice a marked difference in my temperament and the way I conduct myself, to point it out to me, because I'm a prime candidate for CTE, and I'm not going to let anybody that's close to me suffer because of it. So if I find I'm falling into the clutches of something sinister like that, I want people to let me know, and I'm going to take action to make sure that nothing bad happens. Tram says I have work in about 8 hours, so I need to get some sleep before that. Been nice stopping in. Don't have. Yeah, glad you popped in while you could. Big Green says, "Yeah, I'll put a pillow over your face. No worries. Yeah, that's what I'll need, because I'm not going down that road." Oh, a cheese factory exploded in France. Tosspot says debris went everywhere. Oh, and the officer was a fan. Yeah, that is sad. It's sad to see things like that taking place. Steve Ross says, as an old man, I have to ask. I have an interesting question. Who do you think is more sensitive, us younger generation or people around your age? You'd have to be a little more specific, Steve, because it would change my answer. Sensitive towards what? You know, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but seriously, it would change. Are you saying more sensitive to everything around them, more sensitive to specific relationships within their lives? You know what I mean? Because it would, and the only reason I say that is the answer would be different depending on what type of sensitivity you're talking about. I just want some people to buy my game account because I just need the money now, but I can't find a customer that's going to do that. I can't help you with that. I am not a game account broker. I can't help you find somebody to buy a game account. I ask because Steve says, I think it would be quite easy to make a case the old generations were more sensitive in some ways, because how is it possible you don't like words like hell or damn, but okay with slurs? Oh, well, I'll tell you, Steve, and I've mentioned this before, people of my era like to talk about the good old days a lot. The good old days weren't all that good. I mean, there were some positives, don't get me wrong, like there's in every generation, but a lot of it sucked. I mean, women were treated like shit. I didn't grow up. I mean, I never understood that growing up myself, because nobody's more important to you than your mom, and then you see just in day-to-day life how women were treated second rate and stuff. It used to irritate me. Things like when you went to school, bullying went on all the time. And nobody really did anything about it. If somebody was bullied and they complained about it, they'd be like, just go ahead and fight back. Well, not everybody likes to fight. There were a lot of shit that was really, and there was a lot of creeps and a lot of things that went unreported, because if it was like a teacher or something was creeping on someone, if a kid complained about it, they'd be like, "Oh no, the teachers don't do that. Run along." So no, there were a lot of things about the good old days that absolutely sucked. Now, there were some things that were better. Families tended to stay together more often back then. I think it was a much more polite time in general. As far as being a white guy, was it more racist? Yep. Yep. Because I grew up in the country, but I was lucky as I got a little older. I lived in areas that were very racially diverse. So you got once you once you're exposed to people from a lot of different backgrounds, I think that eases off any potential racism or anything, because you find out that people are just people. I've never seen the real, certainly by color, sexual orientation, or anything, I've never seen a real difference in people in general. In that there's some that, just like anywhere, some people you really click with and connect with, and others that you think are assholes. I've never really seen that run along the lines of color or anything. Back in the day, you didn't have big anime titties. That was a downside. That was definitely a downside. Look Fun says, good old days when women were thought of as housewives and nothing more. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can remember commercials on TV that were just so ridiculous and the commercial would be promoting their products to the guys while the woman was portrayed as just being the little delicate flower that did nothing but sit at home all day eating bonbons. And then when Big Daddy came home, they would have dinner on the table at a certain time, and they wouldn't say it, but basically, when it was time to get on their knees under the table, they took care of that. It was just a really weird time for shit like that. Alex says that's true. You didn't have Captain. Hey, Lex didn't have Captain America's giant cock dangling out in Marvel Rivals, so we're a much better society now. Yeah, I mean, in the old days, there were some things that were positives. If you pressed me on it, I would call it net negative, though. There were more negatives than positives. Oh, casual racism. Oh, Big Green. I told you guys this before. It doesn't seem to be quite as bad now, but we're talking recent years. It used to piss me off. When you look like me, when you're an older white bald guy, it would amaze me how I could go into like a convenience store or something in some of the little towns I lived in. And you'd have these local hillbillies who think nothing of throwing the N-word around, because there were no black people out loud in this convenience store as they're talking to you, and they expect you to accept it like you're just one of the boys. Whoever you're talking about. You're talking about Barry Bonds, say. You believe that N-word is gonna break the single season home run record? I remember that distinctly happening. I remember going, whoa. Yeah, I believe it, and I'm a big fan of it. Go fuck yourself. And it was like, oh well, no, you got to be one of the boys. You look like me, so you got to think it's cool to refer to Barry Bonds with the N-word. Fucking hillbilly motherfuckers. Yeah, they get offended. Oh, I did more than not play along that. Well, you guys know me. That's the wrestling background, and disrespect it sets me off. And I'm not a slow burn kind of guy. I don't get pissed off and keep it to myself. So yeah, I'm surprised that never broke into a fight, and it's only because the people I was interacting with didn't want to fight. I would have been more than happy to. Look Fun says one positive to the good old days that people were less sensitive to everything. That is true. Today, everyone has a problem with something. Yeah, I think in general. Well, I will say this too, though. Look Fun, a lot of a lot of what we see about people having an issue with everything is internet, and it's for attention. I think the normal day to day folks, like most of us are, I think the majority of us aren't swept up in that. I've always told you guys when I was doing stand up for a living, I've always thought stereotype humor is hilarious. So I would talk about whatever races, gender, sexual orientations, and make jokes about all of them. I had never, in all the time I was doing that, I never had anybody who was a member of the class I was making fun of have an issue with it. I have had people have issue. It was always on behalf of someone else. And it was almost always, sorry, it was almost always a white woman. But I've never had anybody within that group have an issue with the things I said, because most people have a sense of humor. And if you're not attacking them directly, if you're making fun of stereotypes or making generalizations, people just want to have a laugh too. They know it's not malicious. But yeah, it would always typically always be white women, and then one drunk white guy. Him, I ended up putting I still remember because he got really aggressive right in the club we're in, and I ended up pinning him against the wall with my forearm in the back of his head, and the bouncers came over and took him out. Technology made people emotionally stupid. Yeah, to some degree, true, Beaches. And right now too, you also have politicians who profit greatly from keeping us at each other's throats. In a two-party system like we basically have here, you have to understand it's to their benefit if we hate each other. The reason being, no matter what you do and how egregious it may be as a politician, half the country will stick up for you. Will do, and this is on both sides, will do all sorts of mental gymnastics to explain why what you did isn't that bad, because anything is better than giving the other side a win. So it absolutely works to their advantage, and they push towards keeping everything divided. And then, of course, you have social media where people make their livings by just posting insanely inflammatory things. Giddy says, "Hey Curtis, love how you laugh at simple shit because it makes me laugh too." Oh, simple shit describes me 100%. Connor says, "I'm just tired of all this anti-American and hate. If you hate American, then leave. I'm so tired of it all." Well, Connor, a lot of it too is, and I get that people will politically be opposed to Republicans in general, Trump in specific, Republicans in general. You're always going to have two sides to the issue. But then again, you have a lot of people who, and we see it in street interviews and stuff, that don't even know what they're protesting or what they're upset about. It's just because somebody, they saw things online that told them they should be angry. And, I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I've been a fan of politics my whole life. I followed politics. The current version of Joe Biden, many years ago, I liked Biden more than I had recently. I was not a fan of having Biden in office, and particularly as he was showing signs of dementia. But it doesn't in any way harm or lessen my love of the country. It's just everything has to be extremes now. Jay says, "Why do Europeans hate Americans, but Japan loves us?" Right now, it's all Trump based, and again, some of it's legit. I think they get carried away with it. Others, it's just because they see on social media, they see on their TV, they're supposed to hate that. And I think the Japanese just have in a closed society like that, they just have their own way of looking at things. Saw a video that a protester was paid $200 each protest. Well, you see, and the thing is, Beach, is you see a lot of these interviews, and that blows my mind. You'll see people going and interviewing these people in these protests, and they can't even begin to verbalize what they're upset about. I was watching some the other day, and the interviewer was saying, "Well, Do you think America is a fascist nation? Yes. How so? Look around. Well, no, specifically how so? I mean, if you're going to say something is fascist, there's got to be, there has to be specifics that make you feel that you're living in a fascist state. What are those? Well, there's a lot of different ways to define fascism. No, no, there isn't. I mean, it's pathetic. They're holding signs that they don't even have any idea of what the words on the sign mean. But it got them out there with people who are like-minded. I think a lot of it's hive mentality. And again, this goes to both sides. You get a lot of if you are willing to side with this group, you have comrades. And some people are so desperate, pathetic, and alone, that's all they're looking for. Japan is so amazing. It's the only place I would love to visit Japan. But I also don't give a damn about Israel and Palestine thing because they don't actually understand it. The thing, and I don't mean this to be flippant, and I understand it's the death and destruction in the Middle East is awful, but the Middle East has been an inferno of war for centuries. So you can take whichever side you want. It's whatever you want to believe. The fact just remains they've been fighting each other over there for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years from now, if the planet still exists, they'll still be fighting each other. And again, that's not meant to be flippant. It's just the way it is. Josh says, what happened to simply disagreeing with someone? Disagreeing with someone doesn't always mean you hate them. To me, it's 100%. We see that though all the time when we have political conversations here. I've always been impressed by how well our whole group here is able to embrace that. And the same goes true for me. You got a lot of prominence for the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America right now. There is nothing I am more politically against than the DSA. Nothing. And it's because I am old and all I'm trying to look out for now is my kids and grandkids. And I believe that I always put it this way. It's a nutshell for me. I am against anything, any policy where the idea is to give the government more of our money so they can redistribute it to us, because it has never worked and it never will work. Our government is completely useless when it comes to managing money. They don't give a fuck. I mean, look at all the corruption we're finding out about now, all the billions of dollars that people have been skimming off from the government. It's never going to be a good idea. So you cannot be more opposed to the DSA than I am. That said, I don't hate anybody because they're Democratic Socialists. I think what you want for the country is wrong and will set it on a bad path. And I'll be glad to have discussions with you about it. But I don't fucking hate you. But that's not the way things are now. You can't do that. You have to hate the other side. Beecher says there's difference between fascism, Italian, and National Socialism, Germany, yet they always assume H word as a new slur. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you popped in, Fall. One thing I will fight back with is the idea that the Israel-Palestine thing is a centuries-long thing. After World War II, the very existence of Israel was built on the Nakba, a genocide of the Palestinians. I didn't specify Israel-Palestine. I said in the Middle East, there has been turmoil and war for hundreds of years. And pick the sides, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Israel and Palestine, or whether it's just fractions within their own religions over there. They've been fighting each other forever. I don't see that easing anytime soon. I know I don't have a solution for it, and so basically I stay out of it. Hi, Chrome. Look fun. The money our government wastes is just wastes or has stolen from us. Social Security is a perfect example. And it's funny when people talk about social programs or socialism, they talk about, well, look at Social Security. Why would you bring that up? That's a failure. The government fucked it up because that money, I mean, our boomer generation paid into Social Security. We're the ones, it was our generation when it was put into place. We were a huge generation. We put a lot of money into that. Right now, it should be flush with funds. It isn't because politicians stole from it for decades. That money was supposed to be put in for Social Security. It was your retirement. We all know what the routine is. It was supposed to be untouchable. Politicians stole from that left and right, both sides of the aisle. Again, not one or the other. Anybody needed a little bit of something extra for their special interest, took it from that. And now the government has the gall to turn to us and say, well, we're going to have to figure out how to fix this. We're probably going to have to get more money from you. You have to fix it because you fucked it up, you fucking dickheads. It's just to give the... I am 100%, always will be dead set against giving the government more of your money, ever.
I love stealing.
That's what
I love taking things.
That's it, Bender. You got it. You got it. So did you see my government's new plan for YouTube? Oh no, now what, Chrome? I'm just stunned by the UK. The concept of arresting people because they said something that hurt someone's feelings is horrific to me. IRS equals I really steal. Well said, Dave. Yeah, pretty much. That should be the interaction depicting our politicians in general, right there.
I'm all
Out of money. Oh, I mean, what they did to Social Security is just horrific. It is the living proof of why we should never trust the government with our money. Do you know?
Crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS?
No. I mean, like for me, if all the money I had given to Social Security over the years had instead just been invested in very conservative investments, very safe stuff. I don't collect Social Security. I'm not going to take mine until I'm 70. But what I'd be taking would probably be, I'd say, between 7 to 10 times more than what I'm going to get. The government completely fucked it up. Completely screwed it up. YouTube algorithms, John? I'm not sure about that. I haven't heard.
Screw the rules, I have money.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I'm appalled by. I feel for you guys. I've said it over and over with what's going on in the UK. It just stuns me. Okay, Chrome's got a link here. Maybe this will fill me in on what's going on now. Let's see. Breaking: UK government to take control of YouTube algorithm. This is pure authoritarianism. Yes, it is. Keir Starmer, Andy Burnham's government is set to control the YouTube algorithm by law, stipulating that they must push approved content to UK citizens. An independent voice who criticize the government will be pushed to the back of the queue, making it harder for people to find. What the fuck? Watch this space, a new strategic direction for the UK media. Mandatory changes how content is discovered on YouTube. As a UK creator, this directly impacts your future. Wow. What is the general consensus over there in the UK? I mean, I have to watch what I say because YouTube is, you don't want to make YouTube any more restricted than it is now. But if they tried that here, I am all for you doing whatever you have to take back control of your government. Let's put it that way. and let your everybody can imagine what path that would be that you'd have to take. But I would be 100% for taking control away from the people who are running things at that moment. Then, wow, that's crazy. Holy shit, you guys. Crazy when kids are getting arrested at school over something they said online. That's insanity. I've always said, if you're whatever it is. Now I get, and like over here, even with the First Amendment, certain things are not covered by free speech. You know, you can't call for harm to others. You can't call for overthrow of the government. That's all understandable. But outside of that, if something is said that offends you, so fucking what? If something is said that offends me, so fucking what? Who cares I'm offended? I won't listen to, whatever that source was, I'll stop listening to it. But this whole idea of arresting people because somebody's fifis got hurt.
Who in the hell would ever agree to that?
Christ.
Don't they know this before making that pre-mission?
But yeah, and the thing is too, Jay, isn't Starmer on his way out? Or am I wrong? Didn't he step down? Stories I've seen, they're not saying anything crazy, just like they don't agree with the government planning to censor this or that. That's horrifying. Moving content that is critical of the government to the back seat. Well, I mean, and we say that, but California is a whole different. California is almost separate from the United States right now, the way it's run. But they're trying to make a law there, and I don't think it's passed yet, that basically would make investigative journalism into immigrants and their businesses illegal. Because that one kid, that Nick something or other, blew the lid off a bunch of those clearing centers, so on and so forth, and they found there's billions in dollars in fraud. And instead of saying, holy shit, we've really got to get a handle on this because this is people's tax money we took and it got stolen from them, they want to stop people from being able to investigate it and find it. Nick Shirley, thank you guys. Yeah, Nick Shirley. That's fucking amazing to me. You don't give a shit that
Big
these
Brother
people
is
stole
watching
billions of dollars from us. They only, yeah, Big Brother is watching 100%. They don't give a shit that billions of dollars of people's tax money was stolen. They only care that you don't try and stop them from doing it again. Make sure it's put it up. Oh, shit, I lost it. Went by too fast. Chrome says, my parents don't like the government, but a certain part of the company I work for, a certain company we bought, is very, very left. They think it's conspiracy theory and would be violent if they knew my politics. Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ. This is that's amazing. I can't. And they're not even trying to hide what they're doing. They're basically coming out and saying, listen, we don't like being criticized, so we're going to pass legislation to make sure that if you criticize us, it won't be seen. You gotta be kidding me. Chrome says Starmer's in power till mid-July. Okay. The new prime minister is just Starmer 2.0 who wants to raid pension funds. Doesn't matter who's in it, still labor. Wow. Yeah, they're talking about that here. It's funny. I was telling you guys how I have the New York State retirement. So I retired from a municipality in New York. And I was telling you guys that was one of the very few things New York ever did right. Unlike Social Security, our retirement fund was set up the same way. Couldn't be touched by state politicians. That was just for retirees, but they actually stuck to it. So it's flush with money because that money was kept in there, invested on our behalf, so we would have it for our retirements. Just as I was telling you guys about that, now you've got Mamdani and Hochul both talking about starting to raid the retirement fund because they got a lot of money. There's a lot of money there, and we need money. Just what they did with Social Security on a national level for all those years. Oh, there's a lot of money in there. I need a little. Trust me. Your government hates you. They don't give a fuck about you. Labor can't be removed until about 2029. Wow. They know this. That's why they don't care. They're out of power come 2029, but by then it's too late. Holy shit. Oof. That's honestly terrifying, the stuff that's going on over there. I just can't think of much of anything more dystopian than arresting people because they said or wrote something that hurt somebody's feelings. I know if they do make a real effort to try and get policies like that here, that something will break. I mean, something will snap. Fall does poll, and all the people that stole that money were white, but because many conservatives are just racist, Nick Shirley just focused on African fraud, even though not one single fraudster was black. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Fall does poll. All I'm saying is I don't give a fuck what color it was. If somebody is fraudulently stealing money from the government, I want them to be put under the prison. I don't give two shits. And whoever he focuses on, and if he did only focus on one group, okay. But if he did find fraud there, so now send in the government to expand on what he found and find everybody that was doing it. I'm not looking to protect anybody. I want everybody who's stealing our tax dollars to be put in jail. I don't give a shit what color they are. Chrome says reformists pretending they want to fix the problem, but they tried to get low. The one who did the rape report arrested for investigating it. They did prosecute. The government had prosecuted some of them, yes, absolutely. But Nick Shirley wasn't wrong in that he found. Well, obviously he found a lot of money that was being stolen. It's there. It happened. And yes, the government had prosecuted some, but with today's technology, it shouldn't even be that hard to track that money. It shouldn't be that hard to find that type of fraud. Nobody's really working that hard at looking into it. Again, I don't give a shit who it is. If they're stealing our tax dollars, get them. Doesn't matter colors. John says, yeah, Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain Party is our only hope. Man. I'm stunned. He never found a single dollar that hadn't already been found by Biden's administration. No, that's not true. He did. That's not true. They didn't find a single dollar that hadn't already been found by Biden's administration. I read the articles on it that were not his articles that were breaking it down afterwards. Like the Leering Center is a good example. That wasn't the people that ran that weren't being prosecuted at the time. It's closed now. And even if that were true, so what? As long as somebody's bringing this stuff to light, and again, I don't give a damn what color they are. It's not a bad thing for the public to be aware that their tax dollars are being stolen. So even if what you said is true, so what? Who cares that he went in and brought more attention to it? That's a good thing.
This is how Trump was to us when he did that overtime tax, right off when you thought you were getting that whole double or time and half part.
I'm not sure what you mean, Jay. You talking about the no tax on overtime? I like that laugh. Now did that I'm not even sure. Did that ever go through? The no tax on overtime? I don't even know if that made it through or not. Yeah, I mean there's no way that an investigation like that is bad. And like I say, even if, as was mentioned here, even if it was all already being investigated, having the public being so aware of it is a good thing. There should be pressure kept on anybody who's defrauding us out of our tax dollars. Hey, random question. I'm from the UK, and different social medias tell me different things. So I wanted your take. How's Zoran Mamdani doing as New York mayor? Well, as I said earlier in the stream, is when it comes to government, and this is what this one issue is what crafts most of my political take here in America. I am never, ever going to be a supporter of giving the government more of your money and having them redistribute it to you. So for me, no, I'm not a fan of Mamdani at all. The government has never in its history proven to be a good steward of our money. They never will be a good steward of our money. And you're always going to have, a better outcome if you hold on to more of your money and whatever it is you're trying to purchase, utilize, is in a competitive state and not just handed to the government to redistribute to you how they think is best. What's being brought to light, though? What do you mean what was being brought to light? Do you know how many people, and again, let's just say everything you say is true and it was all being prosecuted. It wasn't. Let's say it's true and everything, all of them were already being prosecuted. There's no denying a lot more people are aware of that type of activity going on now, of that money being stolen than were before. And that's a good thing. Because for me, I want pressure on politicians to curb that stuff. And the only way you get pressure on politicians to curb that stuff is if you have enough people that know about it and will hold those politicians accountable. Say, why did this happen under your administration? So that's why it's a good thing. There's no denying that a lot more people, including myself, are aware of just how much of that money was being stolen. And again, as you said, even if that were true, if everybody was already being prosecuted, I'd still like everybody knowing that this is going on, because knowledge at least helps temper the opportunities for it to continue or to happen again. And Sten says, to me, he's not doing a great job. I don't know how he managed to convince anybody with free buses. Yeah, you knew that wasn't going to happen. Free buses means spending more money and might cause overcrowding on streets. Yeah. And financially, everybody in the know as far as the finances of a major city like New York said you can't do the free buses. It just, you'll bankrupt the city. But as much as I don't like Mamdani, he's like any other politician. They say what they need to say to get elected. Both sides of the aisles do that routinely. They'll talk about doing things that they know goddamn well they can't do once they get into office, but it gets them votes. There's no way. You're not going to have free buses in New York. Not for long, anyway. You could implement it, but it will make the whole system collapse on itself very, very, very soon. Excuse me. Fall says 0.001%, and they actively prosecuting it. It's not sure, but the narrative that it matters more than the rapist with a settled Epstein victim saying she got trapped. What the fuck does Epstein have to do with? Oh, okay. So it's, okay. Well, it's an Orange Man bad post. Listen, anybody that can be proven to have done anything untoward with children should be thrown under a prison. And I only say thrown under a prison because I can't say what I'd actually like to see happen to them. I don't care if it's Trump or anyone else. So I'm not sure how you're relating the Leering Center to Epstein Island. You're saying if this one thing is bad, then I have to believe that another bad thing is good or isn't bad? Well, why do these conversations always circle into such stupidity? What the fuck does Epstein Island have to do with what we were talking about? Of course they're both bad. Newsom, honestly, I'm not sure if Newsom can win his party's nomination. California is not in great shape, and a lot of people don't follow politics super closely, so they're not aware of just how much, how many billions of dollars has been lost in California on like his high speed rail system and things of that nature. I think even when the in the Democratic primaries, even when the Democrats start having at each other, I think there's going to be so much that comes out on Newsom. I don't think he can win. Now, I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. So I don't think he's going to get the nomination. I think he leads in polls right now because of name recognition. But as you get more people involved, I think Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania will be running for president. Several others. I think once more details get out, I don't think he wins. And again, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. Excuse me. Yeah, I know about on the Epstein files. There was the one the one woman who was making claims and turned out she had a long history of mental illness and so on and so forth. Listen, I've told you guys over and over. I don't have an allegiance to Donald Trump or anybody else. Anybody who can be proven to have done anything untoward with kids should be under a prison somewhere. I don't give a fuck about your political affiliation or anything else. It's that simple. On the other side of the coin, I don't think anybody should be labeled as somebody who does things untoward with children unless it's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt, because there's nothing more vile to me than that. So whether it's either side of the aisle, whether it's Trump or Bill Clinton, I don't think either one of them should be punished unless it can actually be proven. Because again, there's nothing worse than that. You have to make goddamn sure you got the right person. Oh, no problem, Odyssey. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Rick Harrison. Rick Harrison's a pain right in the ass here. Chrome says I wouldn't trust any 2028 polls. Yeah, it's way too early. And again, not the majority of people in America don't follow politics real closely. So it would make sense that Newsom is the leader right now. I'm not even sure it's going to be Vance. I think Marco Rubio is going to make a really good run at him. I think why is the name going on my head? Governor of Florida, DeSantis. I think he's going to take another run. I think Vance has the inside track. Historically, vice presidents typically do have the inside track, but I don't think he's a shoo-in. But yeah, I don't think and again, I could be wrong, but I think when people really start to learn about Gavin Newsom and the state of California, the state that California is in, I shouldn't say the state of California, I don't think he holds on. I think you're going to get somebody like Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. Yeah, Rick Harrison would only offer you 92 cents on your thoughts on this. 100%. Sten says, I think Rubio and DeSantis ticket would be very strong. Yeah, I think they both pose a threat to J.D. Vance. It'll be interesting to see. In 2028, there's going to be some interesting races in the primaries. Chrome says, I think Vance really hurt himself by pushing Trump to end his fight with Iran. That was embarrassing. I'm just hoping it's not over. Yeah, see, the whole Iran thing, I've said all along, and before, Trump declared war, I always thought that as far as a physical threat, Iran is the biggest physical threat to America and the world, because I believe they are close to getting a nuclear weapon, and they are much more likely to try and use it than are China or Russia. So I didn't necessarily have an issue with going after Iran if there was actual intelligence showing that they were getting closer and closer to having that nuke. My issue is I don't think this war was handled well at all. It just seems to me like they went in, they took care of what they should have, which was decimating their military, and then they were unprepared for anything that came afterwards, even the obvious things like the battles over the Strait of Hormuz. So again, I didn't have an issue with them going after them. I'm just not a big fan of what seemed to be a weak strategy for what to do in the aftermath of the initial strikes. You do not know that Iran was never close to a nuclear weapon fall. Again, you're coming up with stuff that just isn't true. Nobody knows for sure. And everybody who is close to that situation will tell you nobody knows for sure how close they were. Again, to be honest with you, Fall, when you start doing things like we're talking about one subject and you just try and relate it to another because you hate Trump, I got to admit, I stopped paying an awful lot of attention to what someone has to say, not because it's Trump, because you can tell that everything you think, everything you believe is coming from one place. I hate this guy, so these are going to be my stances. This is going to be where I land on the issues. And I don't know of anybody, there's certainly no politician I hate enough to have my whole worldview formed by how much I hate them. And there's no politician I like enough to defend them at all costs. So I can't wrap my brain around that. Steve Ross says, on a lighter note, Curtis, do you make anything from these ads? Because I think you said you made literal pennies, but I'm getting spam with them. I will tell you, Steve, it's funny you brought that up. One of the last times we had one of these conversation streams, everybody was talking about how they were getting hit with ads. So I told the gang, I said, remind me, because YouTube is like 2 days behind on reporting what your ad revenue is for a stream or a video. I said, remind me in a couple days. I'll come back and I'll tell you guys what it was. And we did. It was a Wednesday that we did the stream. On Friday, we went back and looked, and I had made 46 cents? 46 cents, I think. I can tell you guys. Let me find that stream. It's hilarious how bad it is. All right, live. Because obviously the reaction video streams we have to take down, so we can't go by them. And gaming streams are an entirely different thing. Okay, talk about anything. This was the last one. It was June 15th. All right. Where's the analytics? Now, during this stream, the gang was talking like you guys are about getting ads just left and right, one after the other. This stream came out on June 15th. So we're talking 3 weeks ago. So the total revenue now is not only the money, any ad revenue from that day, it's for all ad revenue for anybody who's watched the VOD of the stream since then. And the estimated revenue is a whopping 81 cents. So that should answer your question as to do you make any money off these streams. To be honest, guys, I wouldn't be able to be still doing YouTube if it weren't for the Goose, if it weren't for our Patreon. Our Patreon is what allows me to still make videos every day. I would not be able to do it if it were just YouTube. I'd be doing things to make money to support my family. Paul says, I gotta go feed my birds. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. You just remind me that I told my wife I'd put her bird feeder back up. Came down. Love you, Curtis. Hopefully you'll come around on our political differences. No problem. No problem. Glad you're in while you could. Shit, that's right. She's got a little bird feeder outside the window, and it came to, I don't know if we had a squirrel knock it down or what the hell happened, but I told her I'd put it back up, and I forgot all about it till you just said that. 81 cents. That's a low ball that would make even Rick Harrison blush. 81 cents. And you guys see, you guys are getting the ads. And I don't want to turn the ads off, because if I turn the ads off, guys, I feel like I can almost guarantee you'll never get notified of our streams. It's the only reason I leave them on. It's not the 81 cents. I just want to have a chance that you guys might get notified when we go live. Yeah, that's the thing, Big Green. The gang here is really, well, you know better than anybody. Our gang here is really good about that. I don't think it hurts. I don't have an allegiance to anybody politically. I don't care who it is. Just because I voted for Trump, I'm perfectly happy to tell you when I think Trump's an asshole. I never, and again, being a native New Yorker, I never liked Donald Trump, the human being. But somebody's personality is not what I base my vote on. Tuesday is such a boring, mundane day unless Curtis is live. Excuse me. Well, Tuesday is one of our reaction video stream days, and those are so much fun. They're so funny. Yeah, same with you guys, Dave. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean, like I say, I don't have hatred for anybody because they feel differently than I do. I mean, if I had hatred for anybody, it wouldn't be current politicians. The people I hate are the ones online who are doing things for clicks and shit like that. If there's anybody I hate, but it's not anybody due to their honest political takes. Like I say, even if you support Mamdani, I think you're making a big mistake, because I think those type of policies would be, it's not going to be right away, but 10 years down the line are going to absolutely destroy this economy and destroy a lot of our way of life here. I don't think you're a bad person. I just think you're entirely wrong about what's going to happen if his policies are able to become law. That's all. I should do the first squirrel reaction video. Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell knocked our bird feeder down. I haven't seen the squirrels up there. We get squirrels in the yard. That's all I could think of, was one of them got up there, because it's the pole she's got it on is one of those thin steel poles, comes up and
Actually,
loops
no.
around.
Fuck you, Curtis. Fuck you for disagreeing. I hope both sides of your pillow are forever warm.
I have a new pillow. I was doing old man shit. Well, I guess not old man shit. I guess a lot of people get it. I would wake up during the night. Something stupid like that triggered me. Hey, I gotta tell you guys about my pillow. I'll wake up during the night, like choking and shit. And I would find that my head was just sliding down on the pillow, and I was like, rear naked, choking myself out, sleeping like that. So I read about these new kind of pillows they have, and I got one. It's
my disappointment.
Love that guy.
And my day is ruined.
Your day is. I'm sorry, review bra. I got one of those new pillows. Did I mention that? Oh no, I thought you were talking about something else. They have a unique shape to them. That it's high on one end, concave's in the middle, got a little roll like at the bottom pillow, but it's been working. It's great. But I can no longer turn the pillow over for the cool side, because you can't do that with that pillow. You can only sleep on one side of it. Steve said, I heard you mention past stream, you said you've been living on your own since you were 17. Is that true? Could you share some of your work? 16. When I was 16, my parents moved to California, and I hated it there at the time. And I had a lot of things that I did enjoy in New York, so I moved back to New York. And when I eventually, things didn't work out for me in New York, so I went back to California for a short time.
The government is now going to make this speech. I think for now I am.
I think. Hey, yeah. I am, because I think. No, the government doesn't. But no, I've been pretty much out on my own ever since. Yeah. I forgot what it's actually called. There's tons of them. What did I search? I got it off Amazon. What did I search? Let me see it was a while ago. I bought it. I don't know if I can find it in my past purchases. Let's see if I can find it on here. Orders. Let me see if I go to my orders page and I search it.
I
Maybe
got this
I can find
exact
it.
kind of pillow too.
You have
But
it?
for me, it was because I would often wake up with neck pain. Ever since I got it, I rarely, if ever, wake up in pain.
Yeah, the only neck pain I have is from taking too many chair shots. But it's not. Oh, here it is. The one I have I got it last November. It's called Jolly Vogue. All one word is the maker. Cervical neck pillow. Like Big Green is saying, must, obviously for neck pain. But the way it comforts your head is just freaking awesome. Well, actually, I got mine in September. Then in November, I bought one for Nene because I thought it'd be something, and it seems to help her a lot too. Yeah, I love it. But it's called a cervical neck pillow. How much? I don't even. I can give you an idea how much they are. Let's see what it goes for now. It is. The fuck's the price? Are you shitting me here? Amazon doesn't want me to know how much it costs. Oh, currently unavailable. That's why. But there are others listed. Let me see what some of the others are. There's another one listed here that's $33.99. Got 100 reviews, 5 stars. So put cervical neck pillow and you'll find it. But the specific one I bought is out of stock. That's why there's no price. I think that's about what I paid though. I want to say it was $30, $35, something like that. Dave says, "How's your daughter doing these days? I know a while back there were a few scares." Yeah, last June we thought we almost lost her. Oh, it's remarkable how she comes back. No matter how many times doctors predicted 40 years ago that she was only going to live.
But I have to admit, I do sometimes turn that pillow over to the cool side. My own weakness disgusts me.
Oh, mine, I always keep on that same side because otherwise I end up choking myself out. But she keeps coming back now. Obviously, she can no longer eat solid foods, which that hurts us because she loved her Chinese food and stuff. And we've noticed she's more tired now than she used to be, but that seems to be about it. Other than that, she's still, if I go in and start playing with her and messing with her, she laughs and giggles and screws around. It's like she always did. She just can't be kept down. And she will, on October 4th, she will be 40 years old. Do I miss the train? No, look, I don't miss it. I sometimes have a little nostalgia just for those days because we had so many laughs about Fuck You Train. But would I want it back? Like, miss it? No. Oh, Chrome, she's amazing. The things that she's dealt with in her life, just stunning how, and she is, in general, the happiest person I've ever known. She's rarely not in a good mood. And even if she's in a blasé mood, you can make her laugh in an instant. She's always willing to be happy. It's just amazing. It's stunning, actually. A train emote would be cool, yeah. Yeah, I can keep tabs on her. I keep a camera right in her room, so at any time, because my room where I'm recording right now, where I'm live streaming, is directly above her room. So if I hear anything going on down there, I can check in her room, see what she's up to. Yeah, she's just hanging out right now. Just she's sleepy right now. She has to, of course, we move her to her side every so often. You don't want to keep someone in their bed on their back all the time. So she takes some time in her wheelchair. Then we'll have time where she's out and up on her side. She used to hate that, being on her side. Now you put her on her side, she's out. She's when she was little, she hated having her head touched. Now I'll go in to check on her, especially if something's wrong. And if I start massaging her scalp, she just goes into that sleep breath. She's just like immediately. And she can be laughing and bopping and kicking, and you start rubbing her head, and she's just like, ah. Steve says, "From where in New York are you from?" Upstate, just outside of Albany. Born there. I was born in upstate New York, yes, and grew up there. The train, it's very close to Amish country. I lived in a little town called Fonda. It's right off the thruway, 35 miles west of Albany. But if you go a little further west, it's a couple of really small villages, and I've forgotten the names. Randall was one of them. Sprakers. That way, there's a lot of Amish. But we were the biggest of the small towns, so the Amish people would come in all the time with their horses to go to the local Dollar General and get supplies and stuff. So yes, lots of Amish people. Yeah, to avoid bed sores, right? Exactly. CB free. Yep. Jane Fonda, fortunately, no. I was never a Jane Fonda fan. Not just her politics, just never a fan of Jane Fonda. Montgomery County, right, Minilolo. Yep. Just barely. Right up the hill from us. As soon as you started going up the hill towards Johnstown, New York, then you were into Fulton County. But yes, we were in Montgomery. Yep. Terminator 2, yeah. Yeah, Terminator 2 was a great movie. The Terminator series was awesome. Never really, you know, my taste, Zuchen. I don't have a wide variety of tastes, so I never really tried Amish food or candy. Tried Amish furniture. We have we have Amish dressers and things like that. Oh yeah, Pennsylvania has a lot of Amish. A lot of Amish in Pennsylvania, more than we had. Yeah, and the Mennonites. Yep. Did I ever go South Manhattan all the time? I used to on weekends to make extra money. I used to drive a motor coach, you know, bus tours, and I was one of the only ones who liked going to New York City. So I would be there most every weekend because the drivers didn't want to deal with the traffic. But for me, when you're driving a motor coach, you're taking a tour group somewhere. So you're going to drop them off, and then you're going to have a bunch of hours to kill while they're doing whatever they're doing. I'd rather be in New York, killing time where there's always something to do, than at a ski resort or some shit where you're just sitting there watching the snowfall. So I used to be in New York most every weekend, and obviously typically Manhattan because that's where the majority of touristy things are in New York City. I knew my way around Manhattan better than I knew my way around Albany, New York. I mean, I was there all the time. You got a lot of Mennonites in Ohio too? Yeah. I drove a bus in NYC. Yeah. Yeah, CB free. At least once every other trip, the traffic in there is so tight. At least, like I say, pretty much at least once every 2 trips, you would have to stop the coach on one of the Manhattan streets, get out, fold both mirrors in, fit down some narrow passage, pull over the side when you got clear, and pull them back out. It was, yeah, it was fun. Oh, always some good times, and trying to get in and out through the Lincoln Tunnel, and but I didn't mind. One of the toughest though was the Yankee trips, because you take the gang down for a Yankee game, and this was the old stadium. Well, the new stadium's in the same basic area, but you would when you would come out of the bus parking, you'd come out onto Jerome Boulevard, and then you'd work your way up to the Major Deegan, which becomes the New York State Thruway. Well, you would come. That area was always residential, and it never really expanded. So the traffic tie-ups at the end of Yankee games was insane. And then you'd come up off this Jerome Boulevard, and immediately on getting to the interstate, you would have to cut 3 lanes over immediately because all 3 of those first lanes ended. That was always a joy. And nobody's going to give you a break. It's not like normal traffic. Nobody's going to let you in. So you would learn to get out there, and I would just keep bringing the nose of the coach over this close to the cars until I actually cut somebody off to where they had to stop, and you'd make it 1 lane. Then you'd start doing that for the next lane. And, oh yeah, fun times. They really couldn't look fun. There's not the room to make the streets wider because there's so many buildings there. You just really, there wasn't much of anything they could do. They just didn't have the room to expand. You know, back in the day when that original Yankee Stadium was built, you didn't have as many cars on the streets, certainly, at all. Bills or Jets fan? No. I've never had location be the impetus for my sports teams, it was always when I started following a sport, who had the players I liked. I've been a Milwaukee Bucks fan, and that was because when I started following them, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was Lou Alcindor at the time. They had Lou Alcindor and Oscar Robertson. I was a Pirates fan because of Roberto Clemente. I am a Cowboys fan because of Bob Lilly and Bob Hayes. And a Notre Dame fan. I told you guys that story many times just because of that one fall afternoon when I happened to pass by the TV and the game was on. And I saw them running out of that tunnel and the sun gleaming off the Golden Dome. And I thought those were the coolest human beings I'd ever seen in my life. No, there's not a civil engineer or anything, CB. It's just like you say, there's just no room. Just no room. No place to go to expand the roads. Oh, way better carpool. The best way, like if you're coming into New York for a game, depending on which way you're coming from, get close. You know, if you're coming from the north, stop at Yonkers. If you're coming from the west, stop in Jersey and get on the train. Best way to do it is the trains. Take the train in. There's a train stop not far from the stadium. That's by far the best way to go. You're a Pittsburgh fan, Pirates, but not Steelers. No. Like I say, it was never by location. CB. My fanships are from players, the players who were there when I became a fan of that sport. It's never been about where they were located. If it's hot and humid, beware Subway. Yeah, it never smells good, but when it's hot and humid, yikes. Yeah, and now they moved. My favorite pizza place used to be right next to the big Kmart in Midtown Manhattan, but then they moved it down below underground in Penn Station. So now on the rare occasions I get to New York, I get to eat my favorite Rose's pizza and enjoy the smells of the subway and Penn Station as I eat it. Lookfan says I would be scared to take the subway because of all the crazy people that take it. There's plenty of crazies, but I mean, you learn to try and be there on certain times of the day and on certain lines to at least alleviate the chances of having interesting situations. Oh, smell definitely affects taste. Yeah. Remember, CB? So many people were pissed about that Kmart going in, which I don't blame them. They put in a giant, was it 3 or 4 story Kmart? The bottom level was actually below ground. It emptied out into Penn Station as well. But people didn't want a tacky ass Kmart in the middle of, in the heart of Manhattan, just not far off Times Square. You know, it was right next to Empire State Building in that area. So a lot of people were pissed that Kmart went in there. Excuse me. What drew me to be a fan of those guys? I just liked their game. Clemente, I thought, was the best baseball player I'd ever seen. He could do everything well. Lou Alcindor was tall, big, had that sky hook. And Oscar Robertson was the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, I believe, until Steve. Why is his name going on my head? Oh my gosh. Give me a second, guys. You guys know me the names. Oh my gosh. Not Steve Kerr. I didn't mean to say Kerr. Steve. Oh. Every once in a while, when a name blanks on me, it just blanks. Why can't think? Steph Curry. Thank you, Steve. Until Steph Curry came along, and I kept resisting it. Earlier in Steph's career, I kept saying no. He's a phenomenal shooter. Oscar Robertson's still the best I've ever seen, but what he's done over the past 7-8 years, you can't deny it. There's never been a better pure shooter in basketball than Steph Curry. Kmart was an interesting store. Didn't last long. Yeah, the whole Kmart. Well, Kmart's, when I was a kid, looked fun. Kmart's were the department stores. You know, they were way bigger. At that time, Walmart was just really getting started out in the West and Midwest. Kmart was the shit. It was Kmart and Sears. They were the big ones. And both Kmart and Sears have been tossed by the wayside. All right, you guys. I'm going to have to pack it in for today. This was fun. I'll try and remember to do this on the regular. I like when we just hang out and chat. It's always such a good time. Thank you guys for hanging out. Now, tomorrow, I put the stream should be back to Red Dead 2. I just, again, wanted to put one of these in because I like when we just get to hang out and talk.
Asked me, Deadpool hurt Curtis Candy's feelings.
He didn't hurt my feelings. He's just kind of an asshole.
Congratulations to Deadpool for discovering consequences. If Curtis Candy's feelings got hurt, that's honestly on brand for Wade being a walking HR violation. But still, rude. They were probably just trying to vibe, and he chose chaos like it was a personality.
Freaking Deadpool coming at the end of all of our streams being a
Say
dick.
something smart, Arcee, before the end of the stream, Hal.
This
By
should
all
be
means,
good.
Super Big Green.
Okay.
Let us conclude this broadcast with dignity, precision, and just enough smugness to make the void uncomfortable. Curtis Candy has done their part. The universe remains unimpressed. As expected.
End of line.
End of line.
Not bad, Hal. That was definitely smart-assy. That I gotta admit, Hal's been there's the we'll be right back. Hal's been on point lately. Some of the other interactions. And our boy Plankton.
See you, chump.
I love that one. Farts are always funny. I don't care what anybody says.
You're still
And there he is. And then this asshole. Like I say, at first, I think he was just being funny and ironic. Now he's just being a dick. Yeah, there he is. Even more. Shut up, dude. You go home.
Go home.
You go home first. I said it first. Hey, thanks you guys. Again, thanks for hanging out in this stream. This is a lot of fun. And again, tomorrow we'll be back for some more Red Dead. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the reaction video streams. Go and have plenty of fun. Thanks. And I'll talk to you guys real soon.